Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 3 long weeks here at SRA.
Welcome back to the best racing in North America, home of the SRA GT3 Team Series. 60 minutes of action-packed door-to-door racing, 6 divisions, 6 different championships on the line. Let's get ready for some action tonight.
An incident turn. We have Boardman at a yellow. Looks like he's dropping down positions there on the chicane as a bunch of cars are coming through.
Byron's going to take a dive in the Lexus.
Johnson looking to go down the inside of Maxwell.
And we're off and away for SRA.
And good evening, folks, and welcome to our Wednesday night SRA here. We're back Wednesday here, Division 2, and we are taking you guys over to Imola tonight for our, well, round 4. And again, welcome Selena to our stream.
Hello. Welcome back to another round of the SRA GT3 Team Series. It's gonna be very fun indeed.
Awesome. And welcome Jess back himself. Thank you for joining us again.
We are so back, and we are going to have a fun night tonight because we have a tie to split, don't we?
We do have a tie to split. We're going to show you guys the settings in just a second as the drivers are getting their little free practice session going before they head into qualifying. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick look at the track map? So, I mean, most of us are familiar with the track, but here, let's move over. Let's go to Imola. That's actually
Imola.
my favorite track. That's probably the track I have the most hours in, like, every sim ever. It's such a great track.
I think my most fun hours have been around here for sure. But most probably Monza, because that's where me and most of us have cut our teeth on public hobbies.
But yeah, that's all you see, right? Here, of course, so it's always good to be part of a league so you can actually try new tracks, right? Sometimes you want to race them, and then sure enough,
really broadened my horizons joining the league. I race so many more tracks more often. It's great. That's maybe, other than the racecraft, that's probably the biggest benefit.
Yeah, you do. That's a lot of times I choose not to even race in pubs, and then sure enough you get a track. Like if I see Imola on the actual server list, I immediately join. That's just my favorite track. I made sure to visit in person last year because that's how much I like this track. It's such a, and it's literally Kunos have done an outstanding job here with this. It's a perfect replica of everything. It is about 5 kilometers long, 3 miles, 19 turns around. We're all familiar with the layout. Before we go into our cameras and show you guys the drivers and get things rolling, let's take a look at those standings and let's go from there. And we talked about having a tie to break here, and let's pull this up. So for now, again, leading the championship. Now, we've got to remember the drop round has been added here, so that's why you see points maybe a little bit different from last week. A couple of guys maybe in the 200s and whatnot. And our race winner last week, JD Daniel, has taken the lead of the championship right now, 176 points. And by the way, he's got the Aston Martin, and car that we saw last season quite a bit. And then we saw this seems to be the rest of the field here. Ferraris all over the place, but Daniel has taken his AMR to the top. He's 20 points ahead of Colin Madiak on his Ferrari. And in third place, we have German Valencia, 152 points, just 4 points behind Colin there for the top 3 here currently. And take a quick look at the back of the field to say some drivers have not put in a race, so they have 0 points, obviously. But I know Christian Salivia has moved over from a different division. He's moved over to here, Division 2, but he has not put in a race. And hopefully we see some of these folks here tonight. And taking a look at the team standings, what we want to talk about here. As you can see, we have a tie 4 rounds in after drop rounds. We have TSC Zoom Car Zoom with German Valencia and Sergio Torres with 292 points, and then equal Honest Speed Shop Racing with Colin Dunham, Colin Madiak with 292 points as well. So
pretty wild.
I don't see that change. I mean, that's staying the same. It would be really interesting if that at the end of tonight, you're still tied. I mean, you'd have to be
Oh,
some.
that'd be incredible. I mean, the odds that you get a tie up at the top at this point like this is already kind of low. That would be exceptional.
Yep. I mean, honest. I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this has got to change, but it'll have to be like a pretty crazy, like you finish like first, like you're in third, 7, and 10th, and all of a sudden it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It would be really fun to see that.
Stars would actually have to align.
Yes, and in third place, by the way, TSC Ruby McVroom face has our current season leader JD Daniel with Jerry Troxler. They have 260 points, just 32 points behind. It's not that many points at all when you consider the amount of things that can happen in a race. So,
Wait a minute, Ruby McVroom face. I think I'm familiar with their marine racing branch.
Right?
Yeah, don't they have Bodie McBoatface?
We do. Boki McBoat. That was, how many seasons ago was that? I remember seeing that. Oh, McBodie face. Oh man, I remember seeing that quite a few times back in the days. Nice crack up. All right, guys. I've switched officially to our our main screen, by the way, which I am a little late because the session has moved over quite quickly. And drivers have not put in their first lap yet, but I literally tuned in right on time, and it looks like Valencia, who is actually coming down the final straight, looks like he might be leading us along with Troxler for their first valid lap. So let's get things rolling here. Both coming through. And a couple laps have gone through, and Valencia with that 42.295 with a current valid lap. Other drivers have not put in a valid, and Troxler, as we just were talking about him just earlier, right before we switched over, as the drivers are coming in with their official first laps. Good to see Caleb Harrington here. He's moving over here to Mr. Harrington on his AMR. He has 0 points on the championship yet. He's still here. Try to see if he can make that up and gain some points. I believe he raced on round 1, but he missed the last 2 rounds. So good to see him back here at Imola. Goes a little wide there, coming off that chicane and onto the far end of the track. Yeah, and this track, you know, talk about Kunos making this track. They went really out. I spoke about this last season, but I visited a few locations, like your aerial view here on the map. And Kunos made sure to implement all that, even though you never get to see it unless you go on an aerial view. So it's like they really went out of their way to make sure that it's a perfect replica to the track itself. So I don't think I've seen one so detailed as Kunos version of it.
I've never been here in person, but like everywhere you look, there's more details. There's stuff where you expect it to be, and like little buildings too, and everything. Like it's great.
Yeah, and
it's incredible. Yeah.
And there's a reason. Like it's kind of funny. You look at a certain part of the screen, you're like, oh, that's there. I wonder if it's there. Trust me, it's actually there. It's like
just on your screen a moment ago, there's a little brick red house way off in the distance or something. Wow.
Yep, and that's
detail.
Funny enough. That's the part of the track where you're not supposed to. If you're doing practice laps, you can't really make noise during that area. It's like it's you know, people live there, so they're kind of like between certain times of the day, you're not supposed to basically rev your car out there. You just coast it and hope you don't make any noise.
That's funny.
It's like they live in the track and they're like, yeah, you know, but between the signs we got, you know, it's quiet time. So Arrington has made another lap through, and he's improved over his previous best. He's currently leading the Silvers guys with a 41.887. Valencia not too far back, just basically half hundredths of a second.
He's got a pretty healthy lead. Yarrington does.
He does.
Times kind of drop off pretty quick. Everybody's like a second or more behind him after a while.
And we're gonna keep an eye on Torres. He's going to that deadly chicane. You don't want to hit those sausages, hit him the wrong way. You know what happens to your car. You know, ACC doesn't have one of the most wonderful physics when it comes to cars lifting off the ground, but it does look kind of funny when you hit that the wrong way and you see your car just kind of bounce. So that's one part of this track that you can see that happen if you take that chicane wrong. So Torres coming in for his first official lap. It looks like he's got a really, really good time coming through. So, yep, there he is. Sends his car right up to the top of the board. First place, 41.775.
Not for long, though. Look at Valencia.
Valencia teammates.
7/10.
Ooh, teammate battle.
41.2.
You got a teammate battle going on here, guys. That's a heck of a lap. 41.2. Track is warming up, so folks are getting the hang of it, and we'll see who can beat Valencia on that lap. Now, we had a little instance last week. We talked about at the Glen where the track was wetter for the Go drivers on the second half of qualifying. And that's not going to happen tonight. I mean, tonight here. Well, today, if you want to talk about the track itself. But we'll see if the Go drivers are able to take the advantage of that, and maybe, because last week was basically whole grid was silver up front with a few differences with Daniel, by the way, who was actually put his car in between all the silver drivers, and we're left everybody else there towards the back and had to work their way up. We'll see. Track is dry, but the race will be at night if you're just joining us, by the way. It will be at very dark. We'll try to get the best camera angles, in-car cams. We kind of tweaked our settings a bit to give you guys, better visibility of the cars racing at night. Imola does help a bit. They have a couple of track lights around, so, but we'll get it going and we'll have some fun.
A few moments ago, Paulie Hartman improved quite a bit up to P5, but while we were speaking, he's already been bumped down to P7, so these drivers are really rapidly improving on their bankers.
And after
Gardner's
the latest,
up next, 9/10 up, slipping a bit down to 8/10 now.
Jeffrey's coming through for his first official lap. Sends his car up to 5th. So yeah, Hartman was there for just about 10 seconds. Right back down to 8 he goes. And then yeah, after the newest ACC update, things start to get a little bit better in your car roughly by the 3rd lap. So that's when you really want to nail your apexes and things. That's when it really matters, you would say.
Yep.
But so roughly about 3 laps in, we take a quick look at the deltas right now. Everybody's improving. Looks like they're doing pretty good. And Story, by the way, he was actually racing. I kept talking about Daniel. Daniel was actually P2. He just had such a great race at the Glen. He moved his way up. But Story was actually coming through for his first lap, but it looks like he's invalidated over a little bit as he went over a little too much on the curb. So will not be his best. He's still got another lap to try it out. This is going to be his last. And we'll see if he can get his Ferrari up to the top of the board. And Yarrington following him now. I know he's just about midway sector 2, going through Aqua Minerale. He's got a huge improvement right now. Would definitely take the lead from Valencia, who is currently leading with a 41.240. We'll see how he goes around the chicane.
Cody Platt's got to be kicking himself right now because he had about 5/10 up on his delta, but he invalidated his lap.
You just that's me all the time. I'm like doing so great, I get so excited and just lose concentration entirely. So
Yeah.
Kind of the opposite in qualifying, at least. I'm really tentative and conservative. Because I know the laps count. TikTok.
Yeah.
Yarrington looking to get the lead here as he crosses the line.
He's up by 3/10 and 41 flat.
Yep, he does.
That puts him right into pole.
And I see Anderson. I'm switching the camera over to him really quickly. He's improving his time, but he's P12 right now. He should jump at least maybe a few positions. I see his car just went off the track for a second, but he's back up. That was a weird lag. P10, top 10 for Anderson. Puts his
and
car.
Guy Manperson improves by 1/4 of a second, good enough for P4.
Good job for him. With still 2 drivers out on the track, we do have Story, who is still getting his lap through. He goes through the last turn. He will be improving about 1/2 a second. That might slot him between about P12, maybe. Keep an eye as he crosses the line. Yep, P12 he goes. Moves up quite a bit. Platt, last silver driver on the track, still putting a lap through, and should be an improvement. He should also be moving up as well. Possibly P14, P13 maybe? No, 14 it was. Yes, 14. P14 for Platt. So silver drivers are officially done with their lap, and now as we see,
Daniel.
Kish, first one in the golds to lead us out.
Yes, it was Kish. I switched over quickly to Daniel. Didn't see his car on the map. Kish is leading the Go drivers. And track is optimum, officially rubbered in. It'll take about 3 laps for them to see if they can challenge those silver drivers for the leads. We do have a total of 29 drivers here tonight so far. I don't see anybody else joining in. A couple of drivers missing the race tonight, but still a pretty large field. Close to 30 drivers on the track is always fun to watch. There's always something going on, so we'll see how that goes.
I think Yarrington and Valencia are going to be, when the dust settles, sitting pretty, because I have spied what the D2 Gold drivers have been putting in on the hot stint, or the hot lap timers, and I think the best we're going to see is a few people putting together high 140s, and then most everybody else is all in the mid to high 141s. So Yarrington really competitive here.
Very good. I mean, you think the Go drivers are in here like, I can get to a 140. I mean, that's literally what you have to do. Yarrington is basically at 41.072. So, I don't know. I don't know who's anybody's going to break that 40 barrier. That's pretty quick for a D2 driver, though. If you get a 40 driver,
fast.
That's very fast.
Indeed.
Kish coming down the line, leading that group on his AMG. Had invalidated his lap, it seems, yes, and Daniel actually puts in his first lap at a 42.092, so a whole second behind Yarrington. He's going to have to find quite a little bit of room to get that going.
Here comes Brian Anderson, one of my votes for somebody who might crack the 140s, and he puts in a banker of a low 42 at 2.1. He's definitely going to be able to improve on that.
As you can see now on your left-hand side, the silvers and white, I'd say just white square boxes with their driver numbers are mixed up, not exactly like last week. So once these Go drivers get things rolling, they should be able to make this pretty interesting. Diaz actually puts on his first lap his Porsche P7, literally slotted himself right in between Torres and Jeffries. Close enough time from the two, and Kish, who had leading the pack, he invalidated his lap. He'll be trying that again. He's coming around. He wants to make sure he gets at least one lap in. You do have 30 drivers, by the way. Looks like somebody joined in a little bit late at the end, but made it to qualifying. You can still race.
Amorime in chat saying he made that Aston Martin livery. Which one is that? Omarime.
We got Troxler. We have Troxler and Harry Yarrington and JD Daniel. Maybe it's Janice because I've been following him around for a bit.
Oh yeah, it would be the only two Astons on the track, wouldn't it?
Well, we have Yarrington, Daniel, and we also have Troxler, from what I see. So 3 Aston Martins compared to last year. So
I remember last season there were so many Aston Martins, and now look, it's just Ferrari and Porsche, mainly Ferrari.
They're gone.
Yeah, that's just out the window. Now the Honda, that is definitely out the window. Like, you don't even see that at all.
Not even as a joke.
Yeah, not even as a meme car anymore. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Did Kuno's like add the new Ferrari and just deleted the Honda from the system? It's like that we don't see it anymore, or what? There was not enough room in the screen. They'd have to remove a car, take the Honda out of here.
They're like, nope, we don't need that. You all used that last season way too much, so we're gonna get rid of that.
It's like they need to balance like which cars. So apparently the new McLaren's pretty good. So we'll see maybe next season. There'll be a field full of McLarens, which, by the way, we have not one single McLaren here tonight. One thing to point out, none.
Wow, pretty interesting. I mean, last patch, I guess it was just very well known that it's not the greatest on curbs, so I guess everyone's still psyched out about that. But
people still like it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a decent car.
The McLaren is all I drive, and I would just say that, I mean, at least the pre-Evo edition, you just may want to make sure curbs don't even exist, which it really teaches you to drive. I mean, it was kind of a bad idea for me to pick McLaren at first because I literally had to avoid all curbs, and it kind of taught me to drive a few tracks like without using carbs. And when I can use another car like the AMG, for example, you can just kill it, or like obviously the, you know, Bentley, things of those of that nature. And I'm like, oh, so this is why you have no issues going through these carbs. And I found out that way later because I drove the McLaren for like a whole year straight, and I didn't even touch any other car. So
yeah, I did pretty well the same thing in the McLaren, and then once I switched to the Porsche, wow, what a difference!
yeah, that's what seems to
Daniel
happen.
sneaks onto provisional P2
He does.
with a 141.09, 200ths behind Yarrington.
Very close.
Yeah,
Semedo,
there it is. It's gonna
Semedo
get
also.
spicy.
Semedo put up really good. See, now the Go drivers are starting to mix up the grid here. It's starting to get really close, by the way, all the way through P. I mean, practically with Anderson, P23, everybody's within a second from each other. So
Ooh. Ooh.
a small improvement here will connect you like a whole 10 spots.
Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly.
We got just about 2 minutes left of qualifying, so things getting mixed up quite well. Kish is going for another lap, by the way, trying to improve on. He's currently P18. Oh, he just takes that curve a little too much and goes wide. You'll have to try it again. One more time. He says, he pulls over and says, forget it. I am starting from here or after if anybody beats me. Parks his AMG. We'll switch the camera to Lyndon Dreebs, who's P8 right now. He's got quite a bit of improvement, and we just said a little bit will net you quite a few positions. So
Yeah, about he's lost a little bit of time, but he's still 2/10 up. Just crossing the
send it to a
start finish
P4,
line
P5.
into
Oh,
P5.
he's just
Ugh.
like literally look at the lap times when Mewtwo and Dreebs are 41.307 and Dreebs 41.337. Oh, come on.
That's crazy times right there. Like it's very squished.
Well, also between the
Switch
leader,
times.
Yarrington has a 0.025 lead over Daniel, who's actually improving on his lap, by the way. So he might take the lead. He's very close. It's going to be really close for that P1 spot. So.
Oh yeah.
And then Diaz
Victor Diaz sneaks up to P3 from the midfield.
send his car right up to the P3. Doesn't waste any time at all. We know he is pretty quick. Like to see. Look at the top guys. AMRs and Porsches right now, sending the Ferrari
Excellent.
groups all the way down.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. That's what you love to see as a Porsche driver. That's it right there. Porsche
Yeah.
on the top.
Well, one thing about, I mean, some more Aston Martin specific is that Imola does tend to, favor front engine cars due to the curbs you can attack and all that. So you can see that Daniel and Arrington fighting for that top.
Yeah.
And it looks like Daniel might actually bring his Aston Martin to a 40. He's going to bring that down to under a 41. So it might be the only car on the track that might break that 40 level. And it looks like he got a great exit. And that should net him a 40 in the lead. He's going to take the P1. No lifting here. No coasting, Daniel. He does. 40.9,
Oh.
952. Look at
Wow.
that. Sends his Aston Martin. No shame at all. Just put that car right on the top. Himself and Yarrington was a silver driver, by the way, which at this race should be a gold, you would say. It's a heck of a lap from him. A couple of drivers have already crossed the line. A few still on the track. Following Louis, currently in P9. Doesn't seem like he's improving, though. It might just let him sit on that P9 position. And Archie, was already valid his lap. So that's it, folks. Daniel, congratulations to Daniel with that pole. What a lap, literally right at the end. Last lap just said, I'm not letting anything go here. We're going all the way.
Yeah, he snatched that.
He snatched that pole as we switched over to night.
Oh, that was a beautiful sunset, though. Oh, and now into the night. I love night races. They're one of the best races. Gotta love night races.
I do
Yes.
too.
So this is
Love it.
Tunnel
interesting.
vision in a good way.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So interestingly enough, when I hit, and I don't know, maybe this is something ACC happens, but my car is
Hold
actually.
on. Thank you, AV6 Scott, for rating us with a party of 10. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, Scott, appreciate it, man.
Nice.
Didn't see that coming. That's awesome. So, just on my end, interestingly enough, I am stuck on the drive screen and I can't click to go on drive mode. I see the whole, the before
Yeah, it
drive
does
screen.
that to me too sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the
Oh,
latest update
yeah.
glitched things out, but I see you were able to get into that view, and I'm stuck here waiting until that countdown reaches 30.
I
But
think it's because
uh,
I pressed drive right before proceeded.
yeah, I think that's what it was. It was just
Yeah, that may
bad
be
timing.
why. I'm also in as well.
But we'll get that moving over to our regular cam in just about 30 seconds or so. But night race tonight, guys. That's I believe that's the first one of the season. We had a couple of wet event that Paul Ricard, and sure enough, send it right over to the night race, which is actually track time is 10 p.m. race. Track temperature of 18 degrees. It is optimal, so nothing fancy as far as raining between qualifying and race sessions. Even though qualifying was actually it took place in basically 8 p.m. game time, so roughly the race is taking place about an hour and 40 minutes after in game time. So here we go.
It got dark.
The Porsche headlights just look so intimidating. Like with the
Yeah.
color, it's so cool.
Futuristic too. I love it.
Oh yeah.
And my ACC is just acting really odd, guys. Give me just a second. I'm going to switch this back over here after that weird glitch that we had on entrance. So give me a second. I need to blank my screen for just a second, guys. And then we're switching this back. Revert. That's better. My screen was not maximized. Drive. There we go. No fancy tricks up my sleeve here for ACC, but we're good. All right, drivers are out getting their formation lap going. Let's get started. Daniel leading the pack tonight. Again, P2, heck of a race from last time. He moved up from basically P12, 10 spots. Some late race issues gave him another spot even. So he's like, why not? I'll take these spots. And then with a P2 leading the championship for now.
So let us know in chat who y'all's favorites to win are. Don't say anything boring like Daniel.
Out of the top 10,
spice it
guys,
up.
it does not count. Choose somebody else out of the top 10.
I know we have a lot of fans for Story here in the crowd. Anyone else?
Or even, what's your favorite livery out of D2?
Yeah, let us know. Though it is kind of hard to see now. See, I hope you're paying
Yeah.
attention in qualifying.
Things have gotten quite darker here as a 10 p.m. race. I'm going to switch over to a helicam just for now. Take a quick look at the top of the field at the start. We should see quite a few headlights coming down. I will go ahead and focus my camera somewhere down, just around Diaz, P5. Once the drivers will get side by side to get things rolling, down to turn 1. Before we reach the end of the formation lap, I know you guys raced last night. How did it go for you guys? Selena, how was your race?
It was another interesting race.
Oh, don't be
And-
modest. You had a great one.
Ish. I made one mistake because I had pretty good pace, but I over anticipated a turn into turn 5 and I tapped somebody. So it was interesting, but other than that, it was a fun race. I really enjoyed that race. Love Imola.
I had the exact opposite. Right at the start, I got tapped. And then I immediately pit, and I had a pretty good pace the rest of the race, but that didn't mean anything because I had before I could pit or get back on track, I had to wait for the whole field to go by.
Yeah, usually when that happens, was it, you said lap 1?
Into lap 2.
Oh,
Yeah, into lap 2. That was oof.
But it was all right. Brought home some points.
Yeah, it's always about the points. There's that.
Cross that finish line, you will earn your points. That's what matters. Just stick around to the end. Take some
Yeah.
points. It will matter. It will matter. So we're about to go green, guys. Selena, you got this.
Oh yeah, let's go. Actually, not yet.
Just close.
Very close. About very momentarily coming up to the start finish line. Very
Wait for it.
momentarily. And green, and we're off and away with SRA, as a legendary commentator always says. We all know who, and he is racing in this race, I believe. Polly Hartman.
And they are surviving.
Indeed, yes.
Look at that snake on the picture. Picture looked so nice with those lights. It was just like a perfect right around Tamburello. It was like perfect.
Yes.
Oh, we've got victims.
Someone off.
Joao Semedo.
Oh, and
Looks like he
another
went
one
wide.
off too. Ooh, a couple going wide.
I think he was able to save himself, though. He just crossed through the grass and just merged. Take a look at. Oh, no.
Too late.
Oh,
It was
man.
a very early victim. I'm too late.
And we'll see exactly what. Oh, he just got his car back in shape. But wow, the only car there just maybe got bumped off into the dirt.
I saw
And
two.
Dunham looks like also had a little bit of a yellow situation there, but he is back on track.
We still have cars side by side here in the midfield. It's been non-stop action so far.
They're
Oh yeah.
fighting for the track position here, and they're like, I'm not giving that. It looks like heading to the chicane. That was very close.
Little clumsy. And we've got someone
Yeah.
stop. It's
Someone
Jay
off.
Story.
Oh no.
I'll
With a
catch the
yellow.
replay right now. In the picture-in-picture, we're
Sound.
seeing it. He goes up the inside. There's room. He goes over and he gets spun.
Ooh,
Oh.
a little bit of
He
a
shuts
tap.
the door a little too much. By my eye, slightly pitted himself. He's really lucky not to have been murdered again.
He is back on the track, so he's lost a few spots, but he is.
It's just time.
He's just time.
Cars in one piece.
I mean, and again, this is lap 1, and we know Story is quick, so we should see him work his way up.
Oh yeah, he's got the pace. Ooh, side by side action with. Ooh, that was very close with Schwartz and Jeffries.
And Daniel also got really good. By the way, Arrington with the lead has taken that away from Daniel, and they were paddling really, really close early, and Daniel had to slam his foot on the brakes to make sure he didn't tap Arrington, but good to see Arrington there at the top, and it's a battle of two Aston Martins, by the way. Remember, you hear that? Just that turbo light kicking in every time you upshift. Ackerman in the rally as they approach. Arrington is the man hunted for now, lap number 2.
So at the end of all that chaos, the big winners really are Mitchie and Looper, who are up 6 and 4 positions respectively.
Wow.
Everybody else slipped up or down 1 or 2 spots. Stefiak and Archie have lost 6 and 4 respectively.
And pit window is open. We'll see if any drivers choose to pit that early. We normally see about half a group. Like here, they'll switch, go into the
that
pit.
backwards, excuse me.
Ooh, there's some action going back there. I don't know who. I didn't catch who that
Chris
was.
Stefiak.
I'll take a look at the replay. Let's take a look and see what happened, folks.
I'm not sure if there was any contact or if he just lost it.
He immediately dives into the pits.
Oh.
Looks like he's just been tapped. Yeah, it was a little bit of a tap leading into the last turn. They were too close. But not much damage I saw. He just goes into the pits, gets that out of the way, so.
And he's in good company.
He's got a lot of drivers. About half the field heading into the pits. The other half will stay out, so spread the track just a little bit.
Imola is quite chaotic on the first few laps, especially.
You know, it's not a very wide track. I mean, you don't want to go 3 wide anywhere here. It is a death, obviously, and even 2 just because of the layout, certain like
Yeah.
a couple of
it's-
turns, you just too wide here. It's even on turns like going down in Ackerman Rally. It's just a bad idea because you can get offset. Your car weight transfer doesn't happen. I mean, it happens quite a bit, so you end up losing the car.
Yeah.
I mean, a real point of overtake, if you really want to say like that, is safe enough. Is basically the starting the straight, which is not really a straight, leading to Tamburello turn 1, where you can kind of, if you get a better exit out of the last turn, you can challenge him at the end.
Yeah.
And anything else throughout the track, even though it's quite long, is just you don't have enough, just enough speed to be able to challenge for a position unless you really want to send it to the chicane, like we saw a couple things happen there. No story got bumped, but
Yeah.
yeah, it can be very tough, especially with that bumpy chicane. We don't want to do that.
Yeah. You would think though that it's like overtaking city, but nah, you just gotta wait and hope somebody makes a mistake, just spins it and just steal that position from them. But it is really hard to overtake on this track.
You know, interestingly enough, the old layout before a couple of major incidents happen here. The first turn 1, the chicane, Tamburello chicane, used to be a huge, basically a straight. You just drive straight through it, all the way to where we see Louis right now at the end of the turn. And yeah, I mean, a lot of overtaking opportunities then, but also incredibly dangerous. So they had to slow the track down as the cars started to get faster in general. So
Yeah.
in Yarrington, looks like he might have made a mistake. Let's take a look at the replay here really quick. And he's dropped to 3rd. He was leading.
4th.
Yep, and he took too much curb. Oh, he almost lost the car. He was able to save it. So he
That
drops
was
That's a
down.
happy ending.
Oof. Gets his car back. At least he might have cooked his tires a bit, but I don't think anything, you know, that he needs to pit or anything, change the tires.
Nothing
But
he can't handle.
Yeah,
It's
he
just a momentary slide.
yep.
I do that for fun.
Yeah, I mean, every time I think about sliding, hold on a second, we're going to switch the camera over down to someone I know.
Guy man person's getting eaten up right now. Oh, and did he just get tapped? What happened here?
He
Catch
went
the
off
replay
the
from his
track
perspective.
on
Oh.
the PIP, leading down to the turn. Oh. The NC's on the out. Oh, too
no,
much
he
grass.
went into the grass, yeah.
But it looks like he's okay after that. And talking about slides earlier, Landon Dreebs, P2 by the way.
Ah, yes.
He's a
The
slide master.
king. Yes.
He's actually gained 3 spots on the grid. Has moved up to P2 with Yarrington again now with that little mistake, dropped into P4. And we do have Robinson in P3 with a Porsche. So, from what I remember, Dreebs last season had a really good race at Imola as well. So he knows the track quite well. Puts his Ferrari up there to the top.
And how do you remember how other drivers' races went a season ago? I can't remember how my last race around Imola went.
Yeah, neither can I. I feel like I have a short-term memory half of the time.
My memory still works to an extent, but I would say, like, if I remember, I remember. If I don't, I mean, I don't remember what I ate, but I remember Landon had a pretty good race last season. I don't
That's
know.
a race
Seems
car
more
driver.
interesting. There you go.
Yeah.
I remember
Your
that.
blood.
It's like I don't remember what I had for lunch though. So.
Actually, speaking of Landon Dreebs, he went a little bit wide just a few moments ago, but he still is in P2, so that didn't cost him really anything. But
He's got Robinson on his rear. Again, Yarrington, who is not too far back at all, had a pretty good exit speed leading to the main straight. Now Robinson does have a little bit of that draft, trying to get and maybe challenge at the turn 1. Gets a look at that on the inside. Says, nope, forget about it. Not this time, as we see he's just sliding his way across turn 1 and 2. I honestly don't know how he keeps the car in control. I would have lost it. I don't know. That's his style of driving. You got to give it to him.
Josh
This is the
Damiani
third
just
race
had a
now.
huge run on Looper into the first turn. Beat him in the braking zone and took the inside, and he's got the job done for P11.
Damiani, there he comes. Does have quite a loose setup as well from what I saw. His
Yeah,
cars.
he is throwing that car around.
hey, Hey, I mean, if you know the car, I mean, by all means, just throw it around.
It looks like these Ferraris are, I haven't driven them as much, but it looks like it can be quite fun to drive with these, tossing the car around. Weight transfer happens without completely losing the car.
He's making the tires scream like a Porsche does in my hands.
Yeah.
And by the way, just quick focus on the leader, Daniel. Opened up about a 1.5 second lead from Dreebs and Robinson were fighting. So Daniel is extremely quick, and we saw him moving from P12 to P2 last week. Kind of working himself a little bit of a, opening up a gap. He does have the fastest lap of the race of 42.035.
Oh, we have a victim.
Jeffries.
Coach Jeffries.
Oh
It's
no.
replay right now.
Not the coach.
What happened in the pip?
Let's see.
Oh, turning too fast with a little bit too much curb. You have too much steering input there.
Yeah, and then he just smacked into that wall. And I know he has not yet pit, which is a good thing. So he can probably get that repaired if it's not too much damage. P13 battle, by the way, Kish and Manpearson. Kish has taken that spot from Manpearson early on the straight, moved up another spot. Gotta love the AMG. That's the one car I started driving when I didn't drive the McLaren, the 720. On this track is the one that that's when I realized how unique the 720 is. It's like,
Yeah.
you can attack the curbs and nothing happens. Like, what is this? It's like a different game. What the heck, man?
For me, it was the way it slides. I had one very brief stint in the McLaren for some endurance race for another with Fosley and Stephanie, and that's, of course, I'm a Porsche boy and that's what I'm used to, but the way that, like, it would slide laterally without rotating the way that the Porsche does, like snapping, you know, it just slides.
Oh, yeah.
Fine. Like it was really fun. It was a different experience.
You know, I am not a Porsche driver, at least not an ACC. I think I've hopped on it once or twice, and that is not my style. Funny enough, I mean,
you gotta give it some time.
Yeah, you gotta really just settle into it and then just have at it, because
It's got a totally different mentality, the way you take corners.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit of understeer until a corner exit, then you settle down, power out. Like for a lot of corners, not all of them, of course. It's just a different kind of strategy. And once it clicks, and it only clicked for me like 6 months ago, it's magical.
Yeah, and it's funny though, because for me, I'm actually a front. I'll much rather prefer like an AMR, the AMG, since I've driven, let's say, the C7 Corvettes and things like that in other games and all that. So I'm very front car based. But when it came to ACC, because I love the 720 so much, I said I'm gonna try the McLaren. I got stuck with it. So. But yeah, like I said, AMG, I tried the AMR a few times. It was like, it's kind of robotic. Didn't like the way the car drove as much. But I've never even tried the Porsche. I'm not going to lie. I think I've hopped on it once and just took a lap or two, but nope. Oh, boy.
Watching Latufo right now in the pip, and he got quite a bit of oversteer in there. Had the rears go out. He had to lift so much to the middle of that chicane. Bunched up Speed behind him, who fortunately did not run into him.
Ooh, that's gonna cost him quite a bit.
He runs wide again. He's losing more time to Mr. Speed.
Speed is
Oh,
coming.
but then he loses out on the last corner.
Lucky him.
He gets his act together.
Lucky.
He does actually
That's
get
exactly
away with
when
it.
he needed to, because the last thing you need is a Ferrari getting the jump on you on a long straight as a Porsche.
Yeah.
Yep. So he saves himself, lives to live another day. I do. I'm following Valencia, by the way. Valencia, Archie, and Louis. Full battle going towards the lap.
Yeah, I'll get the Helicam version of this.
And Valencia defending quite well.
They were nose to tail for a moment going through a corner.
Robinson in the pits. Now Archie does have that AMG, that really top speed coming down the straight. We'll see if he attempts anything. And goes on the outside.
He's peeking. Sticks on the attack. Ooh, a little bit of a tap, but lucky that didn't even result in any spins.
There was a Louis, I believe.
Just Louis and Anderson.
Yep. Oh boy.
This
Very
is
close. Louis is very lucky. He was compromised, of course, on his entrance to that corner, so he had to let up. Unfortunately, Anderson was prepared for it.
And
Really good racecraft being on display right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Valencia is leading that small train, and you see that gets a better exit here with Archie not too far back again, and Louis. It's like basically a Ferrari, an AMG, a Porsche, and then Anderson with another Ferrari in the back. But Valencia actually was able to open up a small gap now.
And an Anderson.
Yep, that's right. Anderson ending that train. I'm going to see quite a few drivers have gone into the pits. It looks like about 13 drivers with a little green square next to their driver's number on your left side of the screen. So that's when things will get mixed up more towards the end of the race. Still nobody touching Daniel there at the top. 2.5 second, 3 second gap by now. But Yarrington is working his way back. I'm going to switch the camera back over here to P2. It looks like Yarrington has moved over to P2 and has taken the position from Drebes. And again, he had that mistake, dropped him to P4, wasting no time. Maybe the only driver. Yeah, he's just the only driver that might be able to challenge Daniel.
To run on the straight, that's why. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that AMR power there just send it right through. And we'll keep an eye as looks like the by the way, best lap of the whole session. Talking about drivers at pit and whatnot. P23 Mutu has a 41.962, and it's the only driver who has put his car into a 41s.
And speed has just been spun and put into the wall, or put facing the wall. Let me catch what happened from his perspective. Going through the chicane, bumpy ride. Ooh. And
That might have been a bump.
Yeah, that was definitely an impact on the left rear quarter panel.
Oh man, right on that
I
chicane.
hate to see it.
And he's all alone, but in one piece.
And Speed has already pit, so it doesn't look like there was any major damage. So you just keep rolling on this Ferrari. Here's Mutu, who does have the current fastest lap of the session, with Dunham about half a second behind him. Attacking those curves on the end of Sector 1. Give you a little bit of an in-car view from Mutu here, and very nice to see the cars. Graphics in ACC just look so great. It's got that nice glow.
Yeah.
It's just your night light, basically.
I love it.
It's a night light. That's all you get in the car. You can
Another
see
reason
everything
why
else.
I love night racing is just nighttime. All the lights and everything just
Very
glow.
pretty.
Yep.
Take a look at his wing view. He does have Dunham get very close into the chicane. Looks like Dunham slides a bit, not able to keep the speed, and that will give Mutu a little run down towards the last two turns. And
Michael Jeffrey is getting eaten up as the blue flag right now.
And Mutu makes a mistake.
Fun.
He missed his brake marker. Into the pit he goes.
Ooh.
Very interesting. He just went almost straight into the dirt and just, I'm just gonna go.
Yes, he did. By like a whole gear, he missed it.
Yeah, he just, but then went right into the pits. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe a wheel issue. Curious to see that.
And he's gone. I wouldn't have quit over that.
Yeah, I mean, but that might have been an issue on his end. It looked really odd, unless maybe something happened. He had to go, but
Yeah.
just happened to catch it live on stream, that was odd. It was a pretty good battle going on too. So
Yeah, what a shame.
Yeah.
He's one of the higher rated drivers in the standings right now too, isn't he?
yes, he is. He's incredibly quick. And it looks like things have got to spread out a little bit as we look at our deltas and gaps and have a little bit of breathing room for us. But looking at Louis P6 and Anderson for P7, they're the two closest drivers on the field. Just about 40 minutes left in the race. So
Some stats for y'all so far for people who have pits so far. For most everybody's between 5 and 9 seconds, but Story and Jeffries has been 31. So they must have changed tires or had some very extensive repairs.
Yes, and I'm looking at the actual entire pit, like I guess time in the pits. Looks like if you don't have any damages, and it's about a 5-second stop,
Yeah.
it's roughly about 47 seconds from entry to exit. But yeah, you're right. You're looking at Story, 31-second pit, unless he took tires by accident, and that, like you said, you just hate to see that happen. Jeffries also in the pits for 34 seconds. And a couple of drivers with small damages here and there. 11 seconds here, 7.
Victor Diaz just took P3 off of Dreeds. I kind of want to catch a replay of that.
See what happens on the picture-in-picture.
Oh,
Looks like
Dreeds gets really loose. That's what happened going up the hill.
Yep.
On the left-hander. He's sitting on the curb trying to get his car pointed the right way. Diaz just climbs up, says thank you very much.
And Dreeps again, not too far back, and he is quite close, which is didn't lose that much time. You know, he wants that position back. Dreeps was in P2 earlier. He's like, I'm dropping 2 spots. That is unacceptable. Let's have a pretty good run here with this Ferrari versus the Porsche, but not enough to catch.
He's going for it.
Look at that
He
exit
wants
speed
that
on the
podium back.
No, but the exit speed when you're with the Porsche, you just see it taking off.
Yeah, oh yeah. That thing just takes off once that exit is just right there.
Yeah,
Not far behind, Wheeler takes P13 off of Paulie Hartman on the back straight. Or the main straight.
And Yarrington, by the way, somebody to point out, the fastest lap of the race, 41.835. He's actually reeling in Daniel. There was about a 3-second lead between Daniel and Dreebs, and Yarrington is just absolutely closing in. He's literally about a 200th of a second faster than Daniel for the lead. So this is going to get interesting in a few laps at this rate. So it's the battle of the Aston Martins for the lead.
Ryan Anderson trying to get around Story. And I believe, is that also Jeffries too in front? Yeah, there's 2 blue flags who are getting all up in the mix of this fight for P5.
And checking in on the chat, Prime says Robinson massive undercut for the win. And Javier says, I mean, he's got the pace to be fair. And then we're taking a quick look at his laps. He's actually running 41.877, so very low as well. Very close to the fastest lap along with Yarrington. So he has already pit. So that might be like Prime says, maybe a huge undercut. And we'll see where he ends up once everybody at the top pits. And Daniel might have saw that gap close in a little bit and says, hold on a second. And he it's like,
Wait a minute.
I want to keep a 3-second gap between us, at least. So he puts it back to about 3 seconds. Maybe saw that Aston Martin close it in, decided to step on the gas just a little bit more. So, and currently P5 Valencia does have Louis with a Porsche not too far back. Louis closing in quite a bit. Louis had this fastest lap, this previous lap, so
By about a 10th or 2.
Yep. It's just
So it's
try
enough
to
to catch, but
yeah.
is it enough to pass?
Got to get in the draft, but he does have the Porsche, which will get a great speed, but might not be able to keep up at the top speed end of things. Very close on the last turn. And we'll see what happens at the end of this lap as he's going to get a run.
Oh, not the best exit for Louis.
Yeah.
Valencia
A little
just...
bit of a slippy coming out of that exit.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in that turn, actually turn 2. since the kink is considered a turn.
And one thing to point out is the chat is talking about Robinson. He's currently P14, leading the drivers who have already pit. He started in P4, by the way. So, and he had an excellent pit, 5 seconds, 47 seconds in and out. So that is basically as fast as you can get it done. If he's not getting any traffic as he's racing right now, he might be sending his car way up to the podium. I'm not counting him out at all. And if you switch the camera over to Robinson right now, he's just sort of, you know, he has no traffic around him whatsoever. Just kind of on his own, hot lapping around until everybody else pits, and then we'll see a merge of things. So keep an eye on Robinson, that's for sure. It'll be great to see a Porsche there, maybe possibly winning here at Imola. That's going to be interesting.
Yes, sir.
Switch over to Man Pearson and Wheeler. And Wheeler's trying to reel in Man Pearson in, but little Ferrari battle between the two. See, every time you go to the chicane, the car just goes like a blender. And you just kind of hope the car, at the end of that, you just kind of, oh, it looks like I'm still straight. All right, looks good.
Yeah.
It's usually every time through that sector. Oh.
Oh, and he nearly had an excellent exit on Guy, but he kind of gave it too much gas and lost the rear end there, had to get out of it for a moment, and that's going to totally ruin his run on him. But even so, with this slip and the equivalent cars, he's still reeling him in, and he's going to get side by side. He gets shown the long way around, and that's going to be the end of that attempted move.
This is definitely not the end of this. Wheeler might be trying to gauge where he could possibly attack and maybe come out very close together on the end of the last turn next lap.
Oh, but up ahead, Valencia and Louis just traded spots. I'll get the replay of this. So it looks like Valencia goes around the outside. He hangs it. Or no, excuse me, I got that backwards.
Yes. And Valencia does
Goes
actually.
the inside.
Yeah, so he's defending from Louis. So Valencia keeps the position. We talked about that as they were battling, but Louis is not done yet. And Dreeb's not too far back from Diaz as well for that P3 podium. You know, again, Dreeb's lost that position, a little mistake that we saw earlier, so he wants that back. He wants to get back on the podium in Imola. So.
Javier asks, could I join? I feel I don't have the pace to race in D1. Well, we have a lot of divisions, so please do join. We have divisions that cover all spectrums of race pace.
Oh no, Javier is Javier Marquez. He's D1 driver. You're not getting in D2. You're not. Just stay away. I know you.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay away. Stay away. Stay on their D1 positions there. You're like leading the pack. You're like, I think you finished like P1 or P2 a few races back. He was just, no, you're not getting here. Stay on your lane.
Nice try.
He tried. He tried.
Yeah, so does Prime. Last season. No, yeah, you guys know. I am switching the main feed back to Man Pearson and Wheeler, as that is not over just yet. Looks like Wheeler is still not able to find his way around him though, as they went back on the straight. But Man Pearson is basically under attack now. We like to say this is for the top 10. Now Man Pearson is a silver drive, Wheeler is a gold. But when you're on the track, you're not even looking at that. You're like, I just want that 10th spot. I don't care what you are. So.
Yep.
Oh, Louis nearly goes in the back of Valencia into the braking zone of that chicane. And he's so slow, he has to kind of drive off track to get out of the way of Brian Anderson coming through.
Oof.
That was spicy.
That's going to benefit Anderson. Anderson just sort of backs off. They want to T-bone Louis going into that second to last turn. But I gave Valencia a little breathing room now, which is probably needed at this point. Into pits, Louis goes.
Louis is, he's opting to pit. during this time, saying that I think I'm just gonna take a break from that battle after what happened.
Louis might be thinking, if I got enough for an undercut here, I got better pace depending where I come out of the pits, I might be ahead once he pits. So, you know, as looks like Maniac, what happened here? Let's go. Maniac has got a yellow and Aqua Minerale.
I'll go 30 seconds back, catch the replay. What happened?
Let's take a look and see what happened.
There we go, in the pip.
Oh, Wheeler just did a clean overtake right on Man Person.
And I'll
Right into, I think it was turn 3?
and I'll put that on replay and we'll take a quick look.
Oh, Colin misses his breaking point. He slides, tries to get it together, and for his efforts, he gets punted by the car right behind him who had nowhere to go. That he's got to have his head in his hands after that one.
And we know he is extremely quick, but as Selena pointed out, Wheeler had a heck of a move on Man Pearson. Just
Just sent it.
I don't think Man Pearson was expecting that at all. He was like, whoa, your Ferrari's here? He just sort of just slotted his car. Yeah, it looks like he had a better pace than Man Pearson. Just said, I got to get through somehow. And again, a few laps in of staying behind somebody who might be, you know, planning or attempt to overtake. And he pulled that. Man Pearson was not expecting, and yeah, position he goes. Got right through. Great move.
Now he's over half a second away from Man Person. Wow. He was done following a car, and now he is just going into the night, let's just say, because there's no sunset, so.
Yes, correct. The sun has already set. Game time 10:37, by the way, way late into the night. You know, I was talked about this earlier. Technically speaking, and we're watching.
Archie goes really deep there.
Yep,
This is
Louis.
breaking spot.
Yeah, literally where Louis and Archie are at this moment. We're not supposed to race tonight. We're breaking the rules of the city. The people sleeping here. They're actually sleeping, and we're just blasting these cars all over the place here. Porsches and Ferraris and you name it, and people are trying to sleep. We're like, nope. Yeah, there's no race at night in Imola due to that reason. So.
Okay, have the virtual police write me a virtual ticket.
Everybody's getting a ticket. Who is it?
You get a ticket. Everyone gets a ticket.
Everybody's getting a ticket for racing here tonight and yesterday. And you guys were over here. Yes, you guys get a ticket too.
Oh, Speed has had a moment. Why is he yellow flagged? I'll catch him in the pip right now. 15 seconds back.
And I'm taking a quick look at Kovac and Stiefel side by side
seen
on
this
turn
before.
1. Ugh. Aquam in the rally. And look at oh man.
Oh,
Kovac.
Kevin Kovac.
Full defensive mode from Stiefel.
Wow.
He said, no, he's like, let me bait him to this turn. Kovac's like, nope, not yet. It is nice to see a little Porsche battle going on.
Oh yeah. Love to see it.
They got really close on that turn 1, as I think Stiefel was like, please don't hit his Porsche, because he went quite a bit over on the curb. So
Yeah.
And switching over to Maniac, by the way, a couple of lights between himself and Anderson battling for position. Maniac's still holding on the spot, but again, that could have been early. We saw Maniac lose it, and he dropped a few spots. And one thing I would note while we're focusing on Maniac, we talked about Robinson earlier, was already pit, and then he does have Louis behind him of the drivers at pit. He does have a 12-second gap between himself and Louis, and then a 5-second gap ahead to Gardner. So he's basically hot lapping. And I'm telling you, I'm not counting Robinson out at all. He's been lapping extremely quick.
I think he might actually, when
might end
Daniel
up-
and Yarrington pit, I think he's going to be in the thick of it because the gap to the leader is only like 44 seconds. And he said that's the time in the pits for a nailed pit stop.
I think he might actually win it. No, I think he might win it based on the pace that he is actually racing.
I think he just pulled the jackpot on that one real early.
Yeah, he just basically smart move from him. Like, I want none of this.
Stevia just took that curb and just lost it.
Oof.
That puts him right out of the battle with Kovac.
Take a look at that replay and see what happened. But
Got it.
He is back on track.
Oh, I could see it happen right before it did. He took way too much of that final curve.
Yeah.
He drove like right over the middle of it.
My goodness. But he's back on track, which is a good thing to see. Take a look at the chat. The gap between P1 and Travis. If you actually take a look where Travis is about, yeah, it's literally, as we talked about, it's about a 47-second gap between himself and the leader, which is roughly about the time it takes to run the pit. But you got to remember, when you're out of the pits, you're actually going pretty slow compared to somebody coming down the straight. So, which means Robinson would actually come down flying the main straight and actually take the lead at the current pace. So Robinson might have had the move of the race here as pitting early and getting himself out of everything out of the way, and might actually take the win.
Actual 201 IQ move.
Yes, something that I would never do. He's all thinking ahead like how I'm going to win this race tonight, and here I am just trying to survive races. And he's like, you guys are going to keep me on the quiets here, like keep me cooking, and all of a sudden I'll come out as P1. And it sure looks like it.
Madiak just had a little moment, which brings Staffiak to go side by side with him.
They are going down the main straight.
Contact!
Oh, whoa, whoa!
Contact again! Oh no, no! That sends Madiak right into the wall, and Staffiak just drives right into the gravel.
Oh, and they both
What just
right into the
happened
gravel
here?
again. I'll catch the replay.
It was a bump on the straight.
Yeah, he cut across.
Yeah,
Steffi cut across Colin.
Yep.
And then they both were so rattled they missed their braking spot.
Yep. And it looks like Madiak does have some damage now. It looks like Steffi just closed in a little too much, like a little too early, and basically didn't. And by the way, those who watch Formula One 2 years ago, Imola, George Russell did exact same thing to Valtteri Bottas at the same exact spot. If you Google that, you will see exactly what he did. And that's exactly what happened.
Anderson loses his rear end, and he
gets clipped.
Reverses, gets swiped.
Oh boy.
His replay.
He got clipped in there as well. Dunham and Anderson on yellows there.
It's spicy.
And Anderson just, oh man, he just
eats it. It sucks.
And his brakes were not being held to. He was kind of slowly just moving around too as he got hit there, and that's where I saw somebody clipping him on the rear. 23 minutes to go, and we're starting to see some things happen here. Like, and this is
it's not the end yet, guys.
Yes, I know. And the top 11 drivers have not yet pitted. That's why you see quite a little bit of gap on the track at the moment. That's about to change roughly in about, I'd say in about 20 minutes or so. Things are going to get really mixed up.
Probably the next 15.
Yes, once they get the pits
yeah,
out of the
Daniel
way.
and Yarrington will probably wait until the last minute.
Who do you guys think is winning here based on these numbers so far? Robinson now 45. Honestly, I'm thinking Robinson's going to take that win.
Yeah,
just a major
I think
cut.
so too.
Daniel in the pits.
Yeah, this would be our first indication.
We'll see what he comes out. I'll switch the camera over to Daniel, but we're going to keep an eye on Robinson. Take a look at the map towards the top of the screen. Car number 73.
In the pip right now. Coming up to the last two corners.
And we'll see where Daniel... Did Daniel... Oh, long pit. That was my mistake. And here comes down the straight. It will be a good indication where he is. Oh, boy. And it looks like, yep, he will be undercutting him. This is what I was talking about, going slow versus coming down flying. Oh, boy. This is going to go to turn one. It is going to turn one.
Oh, he's got to beat him in the braking zone, right? No, right behind.
Shut the door. Daniel just shut the door on Robinson, says, not here. This is not happening. Oh, man, that was outstanding. But then Daniel had to put the car on the inside to completely block Robinson, or you would have lost the spot. It looks like checking the chat, Colin have car issues. Having listening to the chat, so wow. So Daniel was able to hold off, but I mean, they still have 20 minutes to go, and Daniel just pit, but he does know he's gonna have that Porsche in his mirror, whether he likes it or not. Unless he lets him through, that's not gonna go away at all. Yarrington in the pits. We'll keep an eye on that as well. See where he was, roughly right ahead of JD Daniel. And hopefully Yarrington knows he needs to nail this pit stop, get that car up and down in 5 seconds and out the pits. Keep an eye on his timer. Great pit from Yarrington, 5 seconds, so that's going to be leading, should let him right ahead of that battle between Daniel and Robinson, with not much gap to have, to be honest, roughly about a 3-second gap. And here they come down the main straight. Daniel, there they are. Oh, this is going to be, oh boy, here he comes. Looks like Daniel and is going to get through Yarrington. Oh man, this is Yarrington. And a tap.
Oh, that tap.
And Yarrington is back on it. We knew this was gonna be spicy at the end, but
oh yeah, it did, and it delivered. Oh, that was close right there with that rejoin.
Yes, and Yarrington actually holds on to that spot. And it looks like Robinson just tried a little too hard, like, oh man, I'm not gonna get Daniel, but I want to get Yarrington. And hey, guess what? Daniel was just like, hey guys, thanks a lot. I'll bring that win home at this point.
Yeah, that'll take Robinson's strategy like right in the bin after that, and I'm sure he's really not happy about that.
Yeah, he's dropped quite a few spots too. If you take a look at the standings, because Dreebs, Louis, Archie all have gone through. Now we know Robinson is quick, but he's gonna have to make all those spots up.
Yeah,
in 18 minutes. I'm not sure about that, but oh man, just oof. And the one that, even though Yarrington got that little tap, looks like he would end up okay. I mean, obviously now Daniel has gone over a good 8 seconds ahead of him, so at least he's be happy with a P2 considering any other issues. And we knew it was going to get spicy there, and he sure did, guys. That was a pretty good show to put on the chat. Hope you guys saw that, what was going on there. That was caught it right red-handed.
Oh, yeah.
Switch over to Dreebs now. Who would currently, I would say, you know, and by the way, Schwartz P20 with a drive-through. Oh, man. You do not want to see that happen. Just saw that pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
Dreebs with I'd say a temporary P3 podium here. So Louis is absolutely on his bumper at the moment. Just he wants that podium. But Louis wants that podium. Oh. It's side by side.
Oh, he's gonna try. Oh, okay. He plays it safe.
Just trying to
sending it.
He tried to put Dreeb's car. He tried to put Dreebs in a very precarious position, but Dreebs said, "Oh, he goes wide."
Yeah. I did that accidentally in my race yesterday, and that did not go to plan.
And following still here, Dreebs with Louis absolutely glued to his bumper.
He's latched right on, yeah.
Looks like he might have pushed a little too hard. We'll take a cut.
It's been wide,
and that will give Louis the position.
He's through.
Yep. I think he had to. He most likely had to lift, and I'm not sure how many track cuts Dreebs might be on, and that could have been maybe ended his entire race and sent him in a drive-through. So he had to a major lift there because he could have easily had the speed. But now, if we take a look, Archie, he's under attack from Archie. By the way,
I'll catch you in the pit. What happened right now to Colin? Oh, the sausage of death.
Oh.
It launched him just enough to lose traction on the inside tires, and then the outside lost all control at that point. GG.
Yep, he just goes a little too wide. We talk about sausages, but man, I mean, we always talk about Kyalami, the salami sausage, everybody basically dies. And then we talk about Imola. Man, there's a lot of these that just unsettles your cars. We see Dreebs.
Oh, yeah.
Going through turn 1 Tamburello here and just getting unsettled under attack from Archie, and he might lose another spot now.
Yeah, looks
It's
like
sketchy
a...
on the entrance, sketchy on the exit as well.
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
So
I
Dreebs
think
just
he's
drops.
feeling it in the tires.
Ooh, I mean, we know how he drives. Was Dreebs the drifter? He's just drifting his
but
car all
Archie
around.
goes deep. Not enough to matter.
He's still got a little bit of speed. He's not going to let that go very easy. And Robinson, again, not too far back. Remember, Robinson had that incident on turn 1, and with this battle between Archie and Dreebs and, well, and Louis, who's kind of taken off a little bit at this point, Robinson is benefiting him, who has been lapping really fast.
Yeah, this is exactly what he wants to see.
He has been lapping on the high 41s, and the drivers ahead of him with the low 42s, and you know, he like every position counts, and he wants to work his way back up. So Dreebs about to be under attack from another driver. And
We are now 15 minutes left in the race. Fun
Ugh.
fact, I racked up 2 track cuts in only the first 15 minutes of last night's race. Can you do that?
only 2?
Bet not.
Only 2?
I actually was on my final warning, so I was just...
So was I. I managed to bring it home.
I
Yeah.
start the race, so I'm already 3 track cuts. That's what I already 3 track
Just
cuts.
for fun, right?
Yeah,
Just
no, my
to feel something.
formation lap, 3 cuts. I'm already like, gotta go hard, man. Like, gotta see how if I don't get a DQ or a DT in the end. That's basically how I rode Imola. Man, oh man. I know we're just taking a quick look at Story again. Not the best race. I mean, he did win last week, but he does have Jeffries very close to him. Jeffrey says, well, if we're going to end this race, I don't want to end at the rear. So we're going to battle a little bit here for that last spot, if that's the case.
That's how I felt last night.
You got to bring it
I think I was
home.
last or next to last for a couple laps.
Anderson, by the way, Anderson back into pits. He already pitted, but it looks like he might have dropped. Anderson has now dropped off the server, so maybe an issue there. He decided to abandon.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Andrew, come back.
Yeah, I no longer see him on the standings either, so... And we just saw him going to the pits, and that was it, the end of it.
Oh,
Dreebs to the
and
drive-through.
Landon Dreebs, yep,
Oh,
he just got a drive-through. So he was
yep.
on his final cut warning then.
Yeah, he's gonna hate me for bringing that up. Sorry, Dreebs.
Oh no!
I predicted. That was
so-
that's why you lifted, man. I knew it. That was the only reason you would lift up a Wacko Minerali was you do not want to go to the pits, and you just hate to see that. He's had such a good race too.
Oh.
And Madiak with a drive-through as well. So towards the end of the race, a lot of drive-throughs kicking in. You have to be really careful. You don't want to throw your race away entirely. If you have 3 cuts at this point, forget curbs. I mean, basically, thinks they're walls. Just go entirely on the concrete, asphalt. That's all you should think about. Even if you have to
I think
block.
we're only going to see more.
Yeah.
I'm going to start seeing them drop like flies.
It's nowhere near over yet, so...
So, I mean, at the first part of the race, you rack them up because you're pushing too hard. At the end, you rack them up unexpectedly because your tires have gone because you were pushing hard.
Javier on the chat is asking the best time for Archie is actually basically a 42 flat. So he's been pacing quite well there. He's just about a second behind Louis. So, and Yarrington, by the way, was still the fastest. But at this point, he should be getting the fastest lap of the race. 41.835. Robinson.
Oh, Colin into the wall.
Oh no.
Oh no!
What happened here? I got the replay.
Take a look at the replay.
Exit. What did he do?
And we did take a look at the chat, though. They had said having car issues. Speed High Flyer said that. I'm not sure that's probably Madiak, so he might have just abandoned at this point.
Well, he stayed long enough to complete his pit stop. That was weird.
The closest battle on the field now, there are 2. I know Dreebs unfortunately had to go to the pits. He's dropped to P22. Once the drivers at the top get their pit out of the way, that should move him a couple, maybe a spot or 2. But man, that drive-through can really hurt you. But at the top, Valencia with Brian Anderson actually just about half a second behind. And they have yet to pit. Oh, Anderson gets really close on that chicane. Great exit. If I'm thinking Anderson now, about 8 minutes left with the pit window open. If I know I'm a little pacey and faster than Valencia, I'll probably just head into the pit and try to undercut. That's probably what I would be doing.
Yeah.
Previous lap from Anderson was actually quite about 300ths of a second faster than Valencia. And yep, so actually Valencia goes to the pits, leaves the room open for Anderson. So either way, he probably thinking it's a win now. And maybe Valencia trying to maybe, not an undercut, so to speak, but hoping Anderson does not make a, I mean, he actually makes a mistake. And that's going to be a spicy exit when Anderson pits. So granted, Valencia has a pretty good pit, and we'll keep an eye on his pit times and let you guys know how that goes for Valencia.
Victor Diaz in P1 currently. A Porsche. Looking good so far, provisionally.
He has had a pretty good race so far, too. He was up there on the top, so we'll see. Valencia, great pit, 5 seconds up and down. Out of the pits he goes, looking at our timers. 47 seconds, so basically about as perfect as he can get. So Anderson needs to nail his pit in order to basically have a chance at that. And Valencia, by the way, comes out right in between. That's Yarrington, Valencia, and Louis and Archie. And right in between them, so basically holding on the pack with Louis and Archie right behind them. Nearing the end of the race, about 8 minutes and, well, 45 seconds at this point. Oh, man, I just really wish I could see that battle with Robinson and all the guys on the top. If that tap hadn't happened, it would have been absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that is a huge
yeah. Yeah,
But at least we are in some in for some more fireworks though at the end.
Yes.
We still do have 7 drivers leading that have not pit yet.
Yes. And once they come out, it's going to be traffic coming down the straight. Wheeler in the pits.
Oh, look at this. Dreves nearly going into the Trox player. And he goes up the inside.
Oh.
That got really sketchy for a moment. I kind of want to catch the replay from Dreves' point of view.
Get a picture-in-picture there.
Let's see it now. This was 30 seconds back. Oh, he goes flying through there. That's what happened.
Oh, man, look how close he got to him.
Wow. Fortunately for him, the inside is open.
How did he hold that car together through that sector is my question.
Very carefully. That was awesome.
That was not careful. That was absolutely send it. He just sent it right on the curb. It's like, I'm just sending. I don't care if my car flies at this point. Man.
It was wild.
No, he has already paid his dues with the track cuts, so I'm not sure if he's maybe, how many do I have until I get a full DSQ out of this race and maybe try to work his way up on position, so. Wheeler is out of the pits. He's back in P14 provisionally. Has taken care of his pit. About 6 drivers left. Diaz with that provisional lead. We have Anderson, Looper, Kish, Man Pearson, and Hartman who have yet to pit. So we should see them pit as Anderson goes into the pit. So actually I'm going to switch the camera over to Anderson and we're going to see where he comes out. That battle with Valencia, so we're going to keep a close eye here. And Valencia on your map, car number 372. You take a quick look at the right-hand side, actually towards the top of the map on your right side of the screen. You see car number 372 approaching the last 2 turns. Anderson is coming through. Prime wants to take a look at Yarrington. I will switch over to him in just a second. I just want to see where this exit with Anderson comes out. This is going to be another spicy exit.
Oh yeah, it's looking real close.
Here they come.
He just makes it out.
Down to
but
turn
he doesn't
1.
have the speed.
Valencia on the
Valencia
inside.
passes Louis. Oh, just barely side by side.
With Louis.
And he sticks it. What a move. He
So
kept it.
Louis actually undercut him for that position. He already had taken care of his spin. He slotted himself right in between. What a move. So Anderson now basically between Louis and Archie. He slotted his Ferrari right in between everybody. So these next 5 minutes are going to be kind of interesting. Oh man.
Gonna be lit.
Driver's requests from Prime Yarrington. He seems to be cruising on his own there, just sort of on his own world. But then Daniel with that lead, about a 10-second gap between the two, so he knows he's pretty much settled. It should get him a podium tonight. But Daniel basically started up the top and basically lost the position a few laps into Yarrington, but then Yarrington with that mistake gave the lead back to Daniel, and he has basically never looked back.
And Diaz and Looper into the pits now.
They both are just about 2 minutes left to go into pits until the pit window closes.
I'm going to remain on board with Travis Robinson. These are all 3 positions in front of him for track spot, and he wants every one of them. Let's see what he can do.
As we see Diaz exiting the pit. Daniel has already made his way through. Look at Caleb. Yarrington just goes right through with Diaz directly behind him. So Diaz almost makes that move and actually slot himself in P4. Almost takes that from Yarrington. Very close. He had a great pit, but not able to make that through. Now he's got about 4 minutes to attempt something. Kish is the last driver to pit.
Guy Manperson and Stefiak are about to swap spots. They're side by side now.
The train is very real. Oh my goodness, look at full defensive mode from Pearson. Also, by the way, Torres and Wheeler. So now that everybody has pit, we talked about this end of the race, things are going to get kind of mixed up a little bit as so far looks like Daniel.
Just as you look away, Stefiak gets around Guy.
Right down.
And meanwhile, behind Cody Platt just took P21 off Troxclair.
Kish in the pits, last driver to get that out of the way. And that will give Daniel the lead back here with just about 3 minutes left to go. As himself and Ayrton Torres and a yellow. And what happened here? We're going to take a look at the replay. As I caught that. What exactly happened with Torres? Goes through the chicane and when he gets bumped by Wheeler.
The kick in the rear.
Almost bulldozed right through him like he wasn't even there at that point once he got through. Not sure Torres is too happy about that. He just looks like Wheeler might have a little too much gas and did not be able to brake enough, but leader.
Valencia nearly into the back of Louis.
Yeah, there's a pretty big train going on here. I'm going to go on an aerial view here for a second as we can see these cars getting close, and look at that.
Oh, yeah. Valencia's like just latched right onto Louis.
And Looper, by the way, P13 with a yellow. So another situation.
Down the pack rapidly. Looks like he settles at P14. Right in front of Stefiak, who just got done beating up Manperson. More action for Chris.
Here we go, guys. Final minute and a half. Louis.
And Looper goes way wide. The space is there. They get a side-by-side exit, pretty much equal, but Chris got a slightly better one for the and he sweeps across. Job's done. Oh, but meanwhile, this fight for P4 just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, this is a huge train.
Back to Trav now.
Yes.
It's all or nothing.
Everybody's eyeing Louis for that P4 spot, leading that train as Daniel crosses the line for a white flag, guys. White flag as we're on the last lap here at Imola. D is also very close to Yarrington for that P2. So the top 3 are kind of settled, it seems, but Diaz wants that P2 from Yarrington. So, and he moves down the main straight. It looks like Louis, looks like Archie with Anderson.
Anderson wisely covering the inside. Oh, and behind in the same spot, Kish going up on Wheeler. Not quite finding the line on the exit that he wanted, so he has to bail out of it. But they were side by side in the braking zone, I think up to the apex there too.
Oh, it looks like Archie got a little loose coming up the hill, and that will give Robinson room maybe to attack, but just not enough speed to go. Oh, Robinson,
Oh, wow.
very close.
Ooh.
Trav had to kill so much speed there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He saw that coming. I can only imagine Archie's rear mirror at that point. Saw that Porsche coming, literally give him a kiss on the bumper. Switch over to Louis as they go through that final chicane. And we'll switch the camera over to our race winner, who's Daniel, just bringing it home. While that battle's going to switch over to Daniel. TV number 1, here comes the winner of tonight's race. He got P2 last week. P1 it is for Daniel. Takes the win here at Imola. No
Ooh,
issues.
drive.
Great drive from
Nice.
Yarrington, holding off that P2 from Diaz from P3. Great driver from those guys. We'll switch that camera over right over to Louis for that P4. And that train coming down the main strip. Everybody holds on to their spots. So Louis, Valencia, Anderson, Archie, and Robinson, P8. So, oh man, Robinson, who unfortunately had that incident, could have ended out there at the top with Yarrington. That gave all these folks an extra spot, and Diaz the podium.
Oh, and on the last lap, Paulie Hartman is off track into the wall. What happened here? Got the replay in the pit right now, and it looks like he's being followed
And looks
by
like
a Porsche, and he pits himself on the Porsche.
Oh.
No.
he is
No.
he is bringing a Latufo actually out, lets him through, and he actually brings
Oh,
it
what a
home.
game. Didn't
So
snipe that spot off of him.
sportsmanship at its best there, but he somehow brought that car through the finish line. It looked like it was a lot of damage too, but
It was just limping across the finish line.
What a gentleman, Al.
Indeed.
speed crossing the line right now. Looks like that would be the final driver, and then Schwartz not too far back on his Porsche. Crossing the line he goes, and that's it, folks. That is our Imola race. What a race there towards the end. Things got kind of mixed up, but Daniel with that win, Yarrington P2 and Diaz P3. We're going to go into our intermission here, and we're going to try to find some folks to interview for tonight's event. So give us just a few seconds as we switch over, and the drivers will head on into their chat, and we can pull them over for a quick interview.
If you've got any questions you want to ask him, throw them in the chat.
Yeah, Daniel, right up on the we're going to bring our race winner here since he had such an outstanding race last week. We're going to bring him over to our, I'm going to put him in our cool down room first so I don't scare him right off the bat. And let's bring him over and talk to our race winner tonight. Here we go. All right, JD Daniel, can you hear us at the booth?
Hey guys.
Well,
Congratulations, man.
congrats, man.
Thank you.
Well, you
you.
didn't think P2 was good enough last week. You just sent it right up to P1.
Yeah.
How was the race, man? Talk to us a little bit.
The race was really good. Caleb kept me honest all night. I didn't want to push too much because the track limits here are so tight.
Mhm.
And then massive thank you to Eric from the boat crew. He told me when to pit, and it was right on time. The car was great. I had extra pace in it, but the track limits were just really, really tight. So I just wanted to stay a nice, consistent pace the whole race and keep my nose clean.
Nice. Yeah, we saw there was a battle going on. I know Caleb Arrington had taken the spot away from me at the beginning, but a little mistake for him to get dropped him to P4, and then there was a little bit of an incident behind you there on pit exits that kind of gave you a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
We saw that happen. We're like, oh, I'm sure he's happy now at this point of the race. And I mean, like I said, you pretty much kept it up there the whole time. You said you had a pit crew going on, when to pit, and all that going on. I mean, obviously, made it work. So P1, I know you're leading the championship. Now you've opened up even a bigger lead. So congrats. I mean, absolute awesome race from you. I should have been expecting that from you going the next few weeks as well. So
I'm
Yeah,
curious,
we'll
how do you
see.
feel about next week?
Monza, I suck there, so but I don't have a drop round to spare since I missed Paul Ricard, so we'll see what happens.
cool. Well, man, congrats. Won't take too much of your time. I'll send you back to our D1, D2 race chat,
Yeah.
man.
Thanks again to you guys and all the admins for putting all this on for us. Definitely appreciate all the hard work that goes into it.
It's
You
our
got it,
pleasure.
man. Awesome,
Yeah.
man. Thank you. All right, that was a race winner. All right, let's see who else is available. Drivers are still kind of popping in and out of places, and
Yeah, people are shy. The rooms aren't filling up right now.
yeah, they're all like, it's dark, it's late at night, it's Imola. I couldn't see anything already. I was trying to see if we could get our Caleb Yarrington here, our P2, but I don't see him available. And Diaz for that P3, but I do not see him either. I just
I'll
have
set it for
Anderson
interviewing Trav.
and Dad as well, but also Brian Anderson there. He's available for interview. We can let's
Yeah,
bring him
let's get
over.
him.
Yeah, a little bit of a battle of
Yeah.
things going on there. We're gonna ask him how his side went. So here, let's see.
Brian, welcome to the booth. Congrats. What, that was a pretty exciting drive for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Had a lot
Wanna
of
tell us about it?
Can you hear us? Oh, sorry, no. Hey, Brian. So yeah, I was gonna say, how did it go for you a little bit? We saw there was quite a little bit of a train going on there towards the end of the race, and once you pit, things got kind of mixed up between Louis and Arch. How did all that stuff go for you?
Yeah, I decided to pit once I came up on a blue flag. I decided I could wait one or two more laps, but I was like, I don't want to waste any time, so I just pitted and came out right next to Louis. Right.
Yep.
I could maybe have battled a little harder in turn one, but I just wanted to survive at that point, so I let that
Yeah.
one go.
We saw other scenarios that they decided to battle on turn one, and that kind of didn't end up very well. So that was probably a smart move.
Yeah.
It's so good. I mean, you guys still finished up there on the standings. So great drive from you. I just wanted to get your little driver's view for a little bit for the viewers. So appreciate it, and I will put you back on the D2 race chat, man.
Thank you very much. Have a good night,
See you
everyone.
next week, man. Great drive.
Take care.
Alrighty, and I don't see anybody else that I was gonna bring anybody else for the top guys in for interviews, folks. I don't know if we wanted to bring anybody in. Everybody's shy, and like Jess said.
Hmm.
But
Guess that just leaves us with one thing left on the checklist.
that's right. We gotta go ahead and we're gonna switch over to our sponsors, guys. We gotta always thank our sponsors here for SRA, and I'm gonna bring this in for you guys. It was just always. Of course, thank you guys on the chat for joining us, taking part, and chatting with us here. It's always fun here on Wednesday nights for the D2. But want to thank our SRA sponsors, title sponsors, for supporting us here at SRA. Support from Documize is a modern business solution for product management. You can go over to documize.com. You can learn more about that today. And also great support. Thank you so much from Retro Saga. It was a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. And you can enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. Okay, and I also want to take a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racers, high quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to give us some love here at SRA. Doesn't cost you any more, but it definitely helps us. So, also, Armamentario is a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. It does, since obviously we know ACC does not give us basically any customization. This is actually a great tool to use. And last but not least goes to Go Setups, premium esports setups for everyone. You can use our affiliate link in our Discord. Take your drive to the next level. That's pretty much it, folks. I forgot to switch over to our sponsors page, but also you see our individual title sponsors, and supporters here at SRA. Again, we did touch bases there. Jess did mention next week we are heading over to Monza, the Temple of Speed. For those that don't get enough of that on the public lobby, we are going to do a league race on it, which should go a lot better. So, thing about Monza we know is I'd say a lot of drivers are just very experienced in this. So I'll probably see those gaps in qualifying are going to be pretty narrow. I can probably say all the way down to the field. I can see that all the way to P30 within a second from each other. But other than that, guys, did we have anything else we wanted to talk about?
I think that's it.
Yeah,
Well,
amazing race.
that's right. Amazing race here at Imola. Thank you guys for joining here tonight on our chat. Hope you guys had some fun. And we will see you guys next week. Good night, guys. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.